Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, obviously, like I talked about it before, my thoughts on the Joker teaser trailer, but obviously more time has passed and I've kind of had more, time to sit with it and stuff like that. So my brain has been kind of going a little more based on what we've seen. And it's such an interesting thing that's kind of crossing my mind because obviously, like, it's going to be interesting. Like, obviously, we still don't know what it is that 100% triggers, Arthur in this case becoming the Joker later on. But to me, because something I just talked about in the video I just recorded was, well, the Joker doesn't seem like it has an antagonist. I guess the argument could be like the antagonist of the movie would be, either himself or Gotham, or maybe a combination of the two, just because, he's trying to change himself, like obviously smile through these hardships, but a city like Gotham, like I talked about before, just has a tendency just to beat people down, has the way of bringing out people's inner monster. Maybe there was something already there inside of him that just finally cracked and he ends up spiraling down and becoming the villain he ultimately becomes. And it's so interesting too because I think, an argument could be made because obviously, when you look at a teaser too, like obviously you see the whole aspect of, obviously he's going on like a talk show and stuff like that because it looks like that's like what Robert De Niro is doing. His character's like, oh, I'm like a talk show host, and then they're opening the curtains and then there's, Arthur in his clown makeup. And I think for him, and you see at one point, there are people with the clown makeup on and stuff like that, being held back by the police. I think it's because Arthur he felt this emptiness that he's trying to fill with a big smile that he's trying to put on everyone else's faces. And I think it's going to have like that cult-like aspect to it. And like he is able to tap into something, into like the darker side of Gotham, like, that the fact is there's something that's these aren't just going to, I don't think it's going to be a situation of like, oh, he's just going to have these hired thugs who wear clown makeup and stuff like that, or clown masks. Maybe not, because obviously that might be an aspect to it of like, oh, he joins up with criminals and stuff like that. But I think a good part of it potentially could be like he reaches out and tackles something that's there, that emptiness that is there in other people, and he feels that for them, like he's trying to feel something, some emptiness in himself as well. I think that'd be interesting. Like I said, like, because Gotham, the TV show did a very good job of kind of like elaborating that whole like almost like cult-like following that the Joker has in certain regards. That's why Harley Quinn follows him around the way she does anyway, just because he's so, in his own crazy, chaotic way, he's charismatic. He speaks to something in people. In the case of Harley Quinn, he spoke to something in her, and I think we could really see something like that really amp up and play out within the movie. Because speaking of all that, part of me wonders, it's like that stuff later on, is that him, like after he had gained some notoriety and stuff like that, maybe that's what ended up pushing him over the edges, because like, oh, he thought he made it, maybe he was set up to be, kind of like, hey, you're the Joker, and like, oh, like he gains this big persona and he starts, being kind of in the limelight because everyone kind of worship him. It's like, oh my god, he's so cool. Like it depends on how the movie does it. Like, will they make it so that he became like this big sensation on TV, but he ends up being kind of like the butt of the joke for everyone, and that kind of takes its toll on him? Or is this when he kind of starts losing his mind and starts slipping into the Joker persona, that he kind of gets on TV and wants to spread his message of trying to putting a smile on everyone's face? I'd really like it if it's a situation of like he did start off there just as some comedian who was kind of like the butt of the jokes, because like I said, we even see in the trailer like he is on stage trying to do stand-up, and I think maybe like he does work his way up for whatever reason, and then finally like maybe it's kind of like that side of the business and just kind of being the butt of the joke and being taken advantage of and torn down and just Gotham literally beating you down too. Maybe that all kind of finally made him break. Like I said, there had to already be something there that wasn't just quite right, that led to everything unfolding the way that it ultimately does, because even what we see of him as the Joker in a trailer, it does seem like he is putting on a show, especially like when he's stepping on the like steps and stuff like that. It's like he's trying to be a showman, which I think is always an amazing aspect to the Joker. He's always trying to put on a show, and I think that'd be, I think that kind of might play into like the psychosis of the character. It always kind of has, and I think it could really play up very nicely in this, because he is like, in his mind is like, I'm trying to put a smile on Gotham's face, and the fact of the matter is I'm going to be the greatest showman that has existed. I'll make people laugh and I will make them smile even when they're at their lowest, you know, because it's like when you're at your lowest you need a smile, because he kind of does that. Even, you know, no matter what happens, what adversities come his way, you know, I would assume that probably his mom would end up passing in the movie, and that would just kind of send him spiraling. Because something that had come up that I thought was kind of an interesting thing that I've heard people say is like maybe he grew up in a bubble, and for him his mom might be all that he's ever had. Like it might have been the one thing kind of keeping him from like completely slipping. We see that he potentially might have a girlfriend in the movie and stuff like that, so maybe it's just like one thing after another, just like everything just spiraling and falling apart in his life, one thing after another, losing the people that are important to him. Might be some messed up, super tragic stuff that ends up happening to them that ultimately, you know, like I said, once again, makes him lose himself. But then I guess you can make the argument, maybe the story isn't just about him losing himself. Maybe the story is about him becoming who he was always meant to be. Maybe that's going to be his perspective. Like, this is my destiny. I am meant to be this. This is who I'm supposed to be, who I was always meant to be. So, I don't know. Like I said, these are just like things that were just like rummaging through my head that I also kind of want to, you know, throw out there. I guess it's kind of be like a thoughts and theories about what to expect. Like I said, this is just, once again, still based off a teaser trailer. Like, there's going to be other trailers that end up dropping for this movie that will give us a little more. This is all just set up. So, like I said, this is just rummaging through my head that I just felt like sharing with you guys. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good